Hi everyone, and welcome back to Australia Live with Armenia Online. I'm Olivia Dilanchian, and today we are going to have a discussion with the heads of Galstaun College regarding students returning to school full-time. I'm joined with the principal, Mr. Edward Demirdjian, and Lauren Sciacca, the head of primary school. How are you both today?
Yeah, good.
Very well, thanks, Olivia.
You well?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
So we'll start with the first question. Why do you both think it's important for all the students to return to school full-time?
We only resumed yesterday from our transition period. We've already had over 95% of students attend. I think today we've got less than 5 students who are absent. So students, parents, everyone has embraced the idea of coming back to school really quickly. So it's been really interesting in the last 2 months, the large shift which has taken place. But with our transition period over the last 2 weeks, we use that period to get students back to school, embed them with the necessary routines and measures in regards to safety and hygiene, check on their well-being, because there'd been those 2 months where we were remote learning, and that was something which had impacted our students, impacted our families. So at the moment, with school resuming, it's not necessarily us telling the parents that they have to, they're already doing that, so we're fairly lucky. And I know parents have been really supportive of the school with everything that we've done in the last couple of months, and have continued to do so this week, which makes my job a lot easier. So I think school, the fact that we are back, in particular for our Year 12s, is really important. Those routines for our younger students and those interactions with each other are so important at that age. So as I said, we've got very few students which haven't been attending, less than 10 or 5 today. So yeah, for us, it's business as usual and back to teaching and learning. Lauren?
Yeah, I would agree with that there, Ed. So I think the parents were ready for the kids to come back and the community feels safe. So they were happy to send them, to return them to school. And the children, they need it now. Their focus was great in the beginning, but it was time now for them to get back to the class so we could teach them new concepts and some of the concepts that are hands-on that we haven't been able to do. So it was the right time, and it's a very good start for us.
That's really great. I can really imagine that all the kids were looking forward to coming back and seeing their friends and learning in a classroom again. Now, what precautions has the school put in place to ensure the safety of all the students and all the staff?
So we've got a number of things in place, Olivia. So the day starts with the children having their temperature checked, as well as any parents coming on site for uniform shop or to visit the office. And then they also sanitize their hands at the bus stop before they even come onto the premises. And then we've got some extra cleaning processes happening. So in high school, between every lesson, they clean their desks, and primary do it every day unless other children are using their desk. And we've just increased our reminders to wash their hands before and after they eat, before and after playtime. And we've also stopped any large gatherings. So there's no assembly, there's no lines in the morning, no excursions happening as well. And then the teachers themselves are distancing themselves as much as possible. So staff meetings are online. We're trying to limit the number that are in the staff room. We've got, space the kettle and the fridge, those type of small things have also been put in place to ensure both the student safety and the staff.
Yeah, so we've also got additional cleaning happening on a daily basis. So yeah, I think the students have been really good, and they've been really cooperative in the last few weeks during that transition period, and yesterday couldn't have gone more smoothly. So we're fairly lucky with our parents and students and the support that we have. The teachers have also been right on board. So yeah, we've been right back into it. Yesterday couldn't have gone any better, and back to normal. But with all of the necessary routines and measures, and we'll change those precautions, and we're reviewing it on a weekly basis. So as the government makes their announcements with restrictions, then we also review what we're doing. So we're only taking it a week at a time with our precautions at the moment, and we wait and see what the government says, and then we act accordingly.
Well, that's
we're
great.
hoping for ball sports and contact sports to come back. So at the moment, the
Yeah,
lunchtimes, they're running around in the field, but they're desperate for soccer and basketball to be returned.
Oh, I really can imagine. Well, it seems like you've got some great precautions in place, really simple, easy for everyone to follow. Now, I can tell it's a little bit different than when people were at school before the whole situation. So how do you believe that this term will compare to a normal school term?
It's almost been unprecedented what we've experienced. I can't remember any other time. And the situation has been so fluid and it changes from week to week. If we were to go 2 months ago, I mean, we were open, teaching and learning as per normal. We then gone to remote learning in almost 24 hours. We were very quick to be able to do that and very lucky that our teachers were on board. Then it looked like term 2 was going to be closed and we're going to be doing remote learning for the whole term. Then I've gone through a transition and then we've gone back to full time. So yeah, there's nothing normal about it, but I do believe that we've made the best of the situation. We've tried to be able to remain connected as a staff, support one another, check on one another, be as helpful as possible, keep those connections with our students, in particular with our Year 12s. There was a lot of anxiety there and some unknowns. Were they going to do their HSC? What was going to happen? So it's been very interesting from my end, but at the moment we are looking at the best interest of our students, staff and community, taking it a week at a time. I know we're coming back, but I'm prepared for anything. At the moment, that might change again in next week or within 2 weeks' time. But at the moment, our focus is making sure that our hygiene and safety measures are embedded in what we do. Everyone understands our processes, making sure that our Year 12 students are on track, which they have been. We've been fairly lucky with our meets and our online lessons in regards to that, making sure that our students and their well-being is fine, especially after that long break. And every student, every family has been impacted differently by this period. So for us, at the moment, it's normal, almost like you would imagine yesterday when the students came back, like nothing had changed, that we hadn't had that 2-month break. So that's really nice to see. But at the moment, we're probably just focusing on our teaching and learning. A lot of those co and extracurricular activities that we do have been put on hold, but I know that students can't wait to do some of those things. And yeah, things are changing so rapidly, but we're really lucky at the moment with the support that we have, and things are as normal as they could be under the current situation.
Yes, I would agree. In the classroom, the teachers are trying to teach as normal as possible. So following the same curriculum and the same plans. And then there's just sort of social distancing changes, such as group work is a bit on hold. And there's the thing called think, pair, share, where we put the kids in, in pairs and they talk very closely together. Those are the types of things we're changing, but the students wouldn't really even know about that. To them, the day should look normal. And certainly inside the classroom, their desks are separated. But after 2 months of being isolated, to them, that's quite close contact. So far, they haven't commented on it at all. And we are in primary being particularly careful just with their sort of mental health. So we talked yesterday about resilience and strategies that they could use, and we will continue to do that just for the next few weeks until we're 100% sure that they're mentally well and they're coping okay.
Well, my next question actually was going to be when you foresee everything returning to normal. But from what I can tell, it seems like everything within the school seems practically like business as usual, and that any of the extra precautions in place really aren't changing the way the students are learning or really interacting with each other. Is that right?
Yeah, as I said, yesterday it was almost like we hadn't even had that break. Things went that smoothly, but we have made some changes in regards to our curriculum. NESA has given us a fair bit of flexibility, as they have with every school. So teachers have altered their programs and units to see what worked best with remote. It was quite difficult because we didn't really know at the beginning how long this would last for. So we prepared for the worst case scenario that we were going to be remote learning for the term, but things changed very rapidly with 1 day a week and then now a full return. So we've been adapting with the situation.
Yeah, so I think it's hard to know when things will be completely pre-COVID because obviously we're following the health and government advice and we don't foresee like inter-school sport happening in term 2, for example, but actual learning is certainly going to return to normal as soon as possible. And a few other changes, like parent-teacher interviews weren't held, and we hope to do those things like online. So there will be changes that we can see that will come for many weeks. But for the actual children and the impact on their learning, we're minimising it so that there's almost no difference.
Yeah, we're just taking it 1 week at a time at the moment. That's the best we can do.
Yeah.
The situation is changing constantly. The data at the moment is really positive. I know Victorian schools, which were initially meant to be doing remote learning for the term, they've opened. Again, they're going through their transition period. So, yeah, what happens next, I'm not too sure, but I'm confident in our processes and routines and that our students are safe.
That's great. And I think some of the heroes of this whole COVID situation are the teachers in all the schools who have been teaching remotely, who are willing to come back to school full time. So how are your teaching staff and just the staff in general at Galstaun College being supported in this time?
It's been difficult, but they have been very supportive, and I'm very proud of our teachers and staff for everything that they have done within this period, because they've got the same anxieties and angst which was in the wider community as all this was unfolding and taking place. So I've been really lucky with what the staff have been able to achieve. As I said, within 24 hours, we had gone remote. So that also brings about a whole new set of challenges, in particular with the use of technology.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also a fairly big change for our parents and for our kids. So we're taking it 1 week at a time. We did surveys with our staff, surveys with our parents. We took the feedback on board. We've made changes week by week to ensure that whatever anxieties are in place, that we understand those and make the necessary changes. So we used the remote learning of the last 3 weeks just to learn and grow as a team, and to ensure that for the start of term 2, that our processes and routines and what we do is embedded and consistent. So I think our teachers appreciated that. I think our parents also appreciated that, the way that we were changing with the situation and doing what was best, taking on their feedback. We understand that COVID has been very difficult for a lot of people. So I think our understanding on that front has been really important. And I know for our staff, we've been quite flexible as the situation unfolded in regards to working from home and working at school. But yeah, as I said, it couldn't have gone any better. And I think, if anything, COVID's probably made us a much stronger team, brought everyone together. We can count on one another. And as I said, as a principal, it made my job a lot easy. I understood that they did have concerns, but the fact that they've all come together and supported one another for the betterment of our students in school is something which I'm really proud of.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well there, Olivia. The staff were very supportive of each other as well. So with the move to online, which we had no experience with, most of us in fact have never taught in Google Classroom before, the teachers were very sort of kind in finding clips and sending them. People would research an issue online and then send the answer to each other. And high school had a lot of recess and lunches together. So they were online having their cup of tea, just chatting as if they were in a staff room. And primary had an afternoon catch up. So we didn't call it a staff meeting, it was just like a check-in. So everyone could come in and just raise any questions and just feel connected. Because the isolation was quite real. For in a school, you can imagine you're with 20 to 30 kids in your room for 6 hours, and then in the staff room there can be up to 15 people. So it was a big change to go from that to being, you know, in a room on your own. So, but they did really well, and they were very supportive of each other. And I think they were happy with Galstaun as a whole, with how we, you know, the executive reacted to the news, and there was clear communications, frequent communications with staff about how we were proceeding and how we were going to look after their safety, as well as help them with their teaching. It was a very positive experience in that regard.
I think the way that Galstaun College, the staff and the students, the way that everyone's reacted to the whole COVID situation is really commendable, and the transition seemed to have been really smooth. And I know it seems like this first half of the year has been so long already, but we're really only halfway through 2020. So what are the upcoming events that the students and everyone has to look forward to for the rest of the year?
Well, at the moment, it's just teaching and learning within the classroom. There's not much else we're allowing, and as I said, we're reviewing those things week by week. Unfortunately, I had to cancel the Armenia trip, which we're meant to be going in September. So more than likely, we'll be going with 2 groups next year. The snow trip, Duke of Ed, Zeusner's, trip to Canberra. All these things have either been cancelled or put on hold as we see what happens next. We even had all our sport programs, as I said. We've got 5 or 6 basketball teams in the Mallee Ringer comp. That's put on hold at the moment. So our students are really keen to get back to training, to their games. We've got coding. Well, we've been pretty lucky with coding has actually gone online, and students are doing that at home, so they're continuing with that program. We had chess, which was sponsored by the Armenian Relief Society, which had started for year 1 to year 4. And while we had started that internal one, that's on hold now. So we hope that that starts again next term. So it's been really interesting. We're waiting for government directives in regards to what we do, as is the case with every school. But I guess next term, what we're really looking forward to is year 12 with their trials, in particular their year 12 graduation. It's a really like a family atmosphere at our graduation. It's a really special occasion. So I guess the year 12 students are waiting for news in regards to that. I would assume that everything will be okay by that stage, but you just don't know. So a lot of the co and extracurricular activities at the moment are on hold. We wait and see. And yeah, the students are keen to get back into normal, but they're also very understanding and very supportive.
Lauren, did you have any final remarks?
No, I think Edward's remembered everything that we would have had going and what we will have. So we're just not cancelling anything that we don't have to imminently. So there's still like the stage 2 camp to the zoo is still booked, and we're still crossing our fingers that the students will be able to go. And book week in August is all planned and still booked. So the kids really enjoy that week. So we're hoping that'll be one of our events that can go ahead.
Well, thank you, Edward and Laura from Galstaun College, for joining me today to talk about the students returning to school. It's been amazing to hear about how swiftly the transitions have been. And I'm sure that all the students and all the teaching staff and everyone around us are really excited that everyone is really able to get back to school. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you,
Olivia.